اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
bersama Muhid, ada Bina Amin, Amani, Walidi, Atai, Aisyah, Bukai, Sadai, Wadani, Qurahan, Qurahan, Ya Sabat, Ya Dayulah, Wa Kufur, Khaya Bahina, Hegwasan, Pak Didu.
تعال بعدنا. تعال بعدنا يلا خلي جدي يقرأ القرآن.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to 14 Stars Islamic Center for today program, inshallah. We're going to start with the recitation of Holy Quran, chapter Luqman, page 411. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. تلك آيات الكتاب الحكيم هدى ورحمة للمحسنين الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم بالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. ومن الناس من يشتري لهو الحديث ليضل عن سبيل الله بغير علم ويتخذها هزوا أولئك لهم عذاب مهين. وإذا تتلى عليه آياتنا ولا مستكبرا كأن لم يسمعها كأن في أذنيه وقرا فبشره بعذاب أليم. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم جنات النعيم خالدين فيها وعد الله حقا وهو العزيز الحكيم. خلق السماوات بغير عمد ترونها وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وبث فيها من كل دابة وأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج كريم. هذا خلق الله فأروني ماذا خلق الذين من دونه بل الظالمون في ضلال مبين. ولقد آتينا لقمان الحكمة أن اشكر لله ومن يشكر فإنما يشكر لنفسه ومن كفر فإن الله غني حميد. وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا واتبع سبيل من أناب إلي ثم إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا بني إن تكن مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأتي بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير يا بني أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانه عن المنكر واصبر على ما أصابك إن ذلك من عزم الأمور ولا تصعر خدك للناس ولا تمش في الأرض مرحا إن الله لا يحب كل مختال فخور واقصد في مشيك واغضض من صوتك إن أنكر الأصوات لصوت الحمير ألم تروا أن الله سخر لكم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وأسبغ عليكم نعمه ظاهرة وباطنة ومن الناس من يجادل في الله بغير علم ولا هدى ولا كتاب منير وإذا قيل لهم اتبعوا ما أنزل الله قالوا بل نتبع ما وجدنا عليه آباءنا أولو كان الشيطان يدعوهم إلى عذاب السعير ومن يسلم وجهه إلى الله وهو محسن فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى وإلى الله عاقبة الأمور ومن كفر فلا يحزنك كفره إلينا مرجعهم فننبئهم بما عملوا إن الله عليم بذات الصدور نمتعهم قليلا ثم ونضطرهم إلى عذاب غليظ ولئن سألتهم من خلق السماوات والأرض ليقولن الله قل الحمد لله بل أكثرهم لا يعلمون لله ما في السماوات والأرض إن الله هو الغني الحميد ولو أن ما في الأرض من شجرة أقلام والبحر يمده من بعده 7 أبحر ما نفدت كلمات الله إن الله عزيز حكيم ما خلقكم ولا بعثكم إلا كنفس واحدة إن الله سميع بصير صدق الله العظيم صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد
وآل محمد.
أحسنتم حاج أكرم جزاكم
Allah khair. Brothers and sisters, next inshallah we will listen to some poems and marsias, and we have Haj Hassan Faiz has a poem to share with us. Bismillah, Haj Hassan.
بر قلب ریش زینب کبرا علیه السلام صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ای پیام آور خون شهدا یا زینب، ای پیام آور خون شهدا یا زینب، وی تو چون شیر خدا یا زینب، ای رسول علی و فاطمه را پاریتن، ای همه جان جهانت بفدا یا زینب، اگر ازش شود ملک جهان دریایی، نشود حق تو یک قطره ادا یا زینب، کوفه و شام و مدینه نه تمام عالم به پیام تو شده کرب و بلا یا زینب، گر نبود خطبه تو خاطره کرب و بلا محروم شد همه از خاطره ها یا زینب، از تو زبنده بود ذکر تقبل منا، بر سر نعش امام شهدا یا زینب، زینب آمد کربلا را عنبر افشان کرد و رفت، جنت المأوا ز خونی نوجوانان کرد و رفت، قهرمان کربلا آن دختر شیر خدا، دین احمد را در آن صحرا درخشان کرد و رفت، خطبه خواند او که لرزان شد دل ابن زیاد، بارگاه کفر را یک شامی ویران کرد و رفت، گفت من آن زینبم جدم رسول هاشمی است، شهرت زهرا و جدش را نمایان کرد و رفت، در عصیر باغ میرنا گلان فاطمه، راه شام و کوفه را یکسر گلستان کرد و رفت. بایزید آورد اسیران را میانی بارگاه، در سخن یک بارگاهی را بلرزان کرد و رفت. شرح می دادی یزید اینها اسیرن از قرم، زینب آگاه خلق را از سر پنهان کرد و رفت. حلحله در شهر افتاد و شد آشوب بپای، شام را زن ماجگا شامی غریبان کرد و رفت. شام را زن ماجگا شامی غریبان کرد و رفت. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أحسنت أخي حاج حسن, جزاكم الله خير. Now inshallah we will listen to the poem by Haj Dr. Akram. بسم الله حاج. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This poem in Arabic in commemoration of Al-Qasim ibn al-Imam al-Hasan alayhi السلام. هلت دموعي حين حل محرم، وطيب الكرافي علي محرم، فلهفي لآل المصطفى كم تجرعوا هذا اليوم وافوا كربلاء وخيموا. فلهفي لآل المصطفى كم تجرعوا هذا يوم وافوا كربلاء وخيموا. فضافتهم أجناد آل أمية وقائدهم شمر الخنا يتقدم. فأبى بنو العلياء ابناء فاطم وسيدهم أهدى الأنام وأكرم. حسين من البار اجتباه وخصه ظهيرا إلى الدين الحنيف يقوم. فأبى بها ابن المجتبى القرن قاسمون، يكيلهم بالمشرفي ويقسمون. وعصى بهم شبل الزكي مدمرا بصارمه نثرا وبالرمح ينظم. يجول بهم جول الرحى فكأنه عليم بفن الحرب لا متعلم. دجى صبح ذلك اليوم نقعا ووجهه أضاء كبدر التنم والليل مظلم. فنكسا أعلاما وأردى قساورا ودمر باقي جيشه وهو معلم. إذا ما تجلى في النزال يريهم، إذا ما تجلى في النزال يريهم ثبات علي جده وهو يبسم. وقام يسوي بينهم شسعا علي فلم يخشى ما بين العدا يترنم. يقول أنا ابن المجتبى نجل فاطم فإن تنكروني فالوغى بي تعلموا فشلت يد الأزدي كيف بسيفه نحى رأسه ضربا فغضبه الدم وخر على وجه البسيطة فاحصا برجليه الرمضى جديلا يخدم فلم أنسى إذ وافاه ينعاه عمه كمنقض صقر والمدامع تسجم فقدتك بدرا غاله الخسف بختتان ونجم سعود لا تضاهيه ينجم فيا لك عريسا تزف مخضبا بنبل الأعادي إذ نثارك أسهم فلو أنني باق بكيتك لوعتان ولكن إلى ما صرتم متقدم صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, inshallah, we'll listen to the poem in English language until our guest speaker is on his way for a couple minutes, inshallah. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Muharram, a lonely man stands as his eyes bear witness to the blood-filled land. 3 days of thirst and no food to survive, but all Hussein hears are the Al-Atash cries. He hears baby Ali Asghar and the cries of his daughter. He hears a feeble Sajjad begging for some water. He sees the scared woman alone and frightened. He sees the blood in the Fur'at flowing in silence. To say goodbye to his family, the time has come. As a thirsty Hussein rides out under the sun. But as he begins riding, Zuljina hears the pain of a little girl's heart crying for Hussein. Baba, do not go, I know you will not come back. My uncle Abbas left with an empty water sack. I wish I had never asked for him to leave. Do not go, Baba, I'm begging you, please. Imam Hussein's heart breaks when he hears her voice, but the pride of the Prophet knows this is the ultimate choice, for he came to Karbala to save Islam, so that there could be the next Imam. Like a lion, Aba Abdullah attacks with all his might. Thousands of men he defeats in this great fight, but Hussein has not touched water for 3 days. He no longer has the energy to chase the enemy away. From the corner of his eye, an evil man strikes him hard. Hussein falls to the floor as he is caught off guard. The enemies surround him and attacks all around. And now Hussein is all alone, bleeding on the ground. Zainab sees that her abandoned brother has collapsed. She runs to the battlefield as the army attacks. Is there anyone to help me? A forsaken Hussein cries. Zainab embraces her brother under the sorrowful skies. Oh Imam, if only we were there to take away your pain. Now in our millions we cry, Labbayka ya Hussein.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, now inshallah we will move to the lecture by our guest speaker, Haj Wissam Bazi. To welcome him, please loudly salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So we're going to start here first. Just please watch the cue.
Okay, sit in that chair. Alright, here's the deal. Marshmallow, for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another one, so then you'll have to. But stay in here and stay in the chair till I come back, okay? Alright. I'm gonna go do something and then I'll come back.
It's yummy. It smells really good.
Alright, so it's up to you. You can have it now or you can wait. Okay? I'll be back. Stay in the chair, okay? Okay. Alright, so I'm going to leave and then I'll come back, okay? So you can either eat it right now or you can wait. Either way, okay? Okay. How'd you do? Did you do good? You did? You wanted to eat it, didn't you? Yeah. So I tell you to give me another one? Okay, now you can have both. You can.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Alhamdulillah, he doesn't want to leave. Okay, you can stay with me. You want to stay with me? You want to lecture with me? What do you think? Okay, what do you want to say to everybody? Look. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So really quickly, I just want to give you a demonstration here. So what is the delay of gratification? I'll begin my lecture. The delay of gratification is something extremely important that they take any kids from 2 years old to about 5 years old. And they can actually, through this test, they can predict with 90% accuracy when you're going to graduate from the university. They can predict your GPA with 90% accuracy. Not many tests can have that kind of validity. So that delay of gratification is so important in your life. And when you see something like that, it's really incredible that such a young age we struggle with telling the self what? No. So it's really incredible when you get to see how someone can delay and they can put a space between them and the actual gratification. So tonight you will see, why is that so important? Why is this such an amazing thing when someone can actually do that? And they can Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Why is this so important for anyone to do that? So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. For me, before I go into that, I'm honored to be here. I appreciate the community. Thank you for allowing me to be part of you. And I'm grateful. This is, to me, I couldn't be doing anything else in my life. So I'm really honored. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبو القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فأما من طغى وآثر حياة الدنيا فإن الجحيم هي المأوى وأما من خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى إن الجنة هي المأوى. Surely the person فأما من طغى, the one who's transgressed. We said we're walking on the path. What happens when you don't walk on the path? You decide to turn and go the other way. وآثر الحياة الدنيا, and he prefers the world instead of what? The next. We said yesterday, Hur didn't look back. He looked at the gate and he made the decision to go towards the gate. So on this level, you begin to see if a person does that, and many people stayed on the other side. They chose the world. Hur left the world. Prestige, wealth, everything. He had it all. But he chose differently. That's not easy. So on that level, the person, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ, what happens? The person who's God conscious, they see the position of their Lord. Allah Azza wa Jal is with them. وَأَمَّا Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There's another verse. You know what? I'm not going to go into that. Let me just stay here because I don't have much time. But on that level, then he forbids the self from what? Unlawful inclinations. Remember we talked about the inclinations inside the subconscious mind? You have to turn them where? Where do you have to turn them to? Allah Azza wa Jal. An inclination is an urge. Something that you have that's a predisposition. You have to turn it towards what? Allah Azza wa Jal. Surely heaven is his abode. It's that struggle between the self. And allowing the self to say what? Yes to you. Willingly. You go against it so much that it submits to you. That Imam Ali alayhi salam says, وَنَفْسُ مِنْهُ فِي عَنَاءٍ. In Nash al-Balagha, Imam Ali talks about this. He says his own self is in distress of him. He also says, He was hungry. He heard his stomach growl. He says, be quiet before I swallow a rock and shut you up. The discipline. To discipline the self is not an easy thing. So on that level, we have to realize Karbala is all about discipline. It's all about discipline. From the Imam to his companions, decision after decision after decision, it's all about discipline. It's all about what? Telling the self no. And you'll hear Abbas tonight. What he says when he holds the water in his hands. How do you get to that point? And you still tell the self no. How do you do that? How do you actually get to something like that? How do you get to that emotion where to quench the thirst has less value for you, less value than your care for another person? How do you get the heart to become like that? How do you submit the heart? Your own ego has to submit. So now, we began from Allah Azza wa Jal, to the Prophet, to the gate. Imam al-Sajjad, in terms of Allah Azza wa Jal, he states, what's Allah's right upon you? In Risalat al-Huquq, the treaties of rights, what's Allah? That obligation that you have towards Allah, because He's the center of everything. He's the point of Tawheed. Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, he says, worship so you can worship Him without any association. So the first obligation we have towards Allah is no association with Him. There is no association with Allah. Now, I challenge you, and I stand to be challenged. Find a better gate of Tawheed than Imam Ali alayhi salam. Find a better gate. Look through history. I don't care who came before. Find a half a page in history of anyone talking about Allah the way Imam Ali talks about Allah. How does he describe Allah? Look back. This is not a fairy tale. We don't come together and just say stories and just hope that what? You believe or we believe. This is not a fairy tale. We don't commemorate every year because this is a fairy tale. And this is something we just like to come together and just say stories. No. Your soul is on the line. Your kids are on the line. Generations are on the line. This is where we come together. This is why we come together. Second thing, he says, if you worship Him with sincerity. Sincerity in the heart. This is the first hadith in the whole book. The first hadith. Worship Him with what? إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهِ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. That heart that's what? It's tranquil. It's submissive to Allah. So now, if you do this, in the hadith it states, he says, Allah has made it incumbent upon him, that He will give you. See that door that you were running away from? He will give you that door. Hayatul dunya wa hayatul akhirah. He will give you both. But what's the criteria to winning in the world and winning in the hereafter? Worship of Allah and no association. The gate for us is what saves that association. Monotheism is ours. And I'm not joking when I say that. Follow another religion. See, when I say follow, I said look into history. Look into all these things. See, what comes closest to Tawheed, then follow that religion. It's incumbent upon you. So now, on that level, when you see that Allah will give you both. The world want it, we will give it to you. Then what? You want the akhirah, we will give it to you. You want both, we will give it to you. But what? أنا مدينة العلم وعلي بابها. So the Prophet ﷺ taught us the first night. From Allah to the Prophet, direct connection. From the Prophet to وَمَنْ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ. Who is this person? To Imam Ali alayhi salam. To what? Imam Hussein. Till the nights of now. And tonight, you get the flag that's over the gate. You see the one who stands. These are men. This is a man. This is masculinity. This is power and strength, ability to look at the enemy straight in them, right in their eye, and you don't waver. You don't waver. You don't move. Your heart doesn't move. How do you do that? We'll talk about the heart of Zainab. We have warriors on this side, no problem. But we'll also talk about the warrior that stands in front of any man. Sisters, Zainab is not just for you. I'm sorry. She's for us. She's my leader. You can't have her. She's my leader. She is. That's a heart that not many men can get to. That's the person that stood in front of the gate. That's not easy. So the heart does not have a gender. It doesn't have a gender. Male, female, it doesn't matter. Your iman is beyond. Your love for Allah is beyond. That's you. That's your character. How much do you want to ascend? So now, me and my brother were about 5 years old. When I was about 5, I used to go up to the bakery. I used to literally make the dough. I was 5 years old. I would go make the dough. I would call them manaish. Okay? So the cheese pies. And now they're all over Dearborn. If you visit Dearborn, like it's the most amazing. People just visit these things, these bakeries. Okay? I used to go up there. I used to take care of that. I used to go to the cashier. I used to pay the money. I was 5. Very young. But when you grow up in the Middle East, it's a completely different story. By the time you're like 7, 8, you're already a man. So on that level, we didn't have much growing up. We didn't. We were poor. My dad had to work very hard. And I remember days we would just eat. And my mom and my dad would just sit in the corner and they wouldn't eat. And we'd wonder why. Like, I'd ask my dad, like, why aren't you eating with us? And he'd be like, it's okay. Ma'alesh, eat. Because there wasn't enough food. When my brother would get a rash, I remember I'd go with my dad. And I remember him dipping my brother, what? In the ocean. Because he didn't have enough money to buy what? Buy ointment. And I remember my brother screaming, man, that was bad. But think about that. These are the conditions that we lived in. And one time, my dad started making some money and stuff like that. And he gave me, for Eid, he gave me $5. Me and my brother. $5 back then? Man, I was rich that day. So what did we decide to do, me and my brother? And my brother is like literally, he's my heart. He is. My brother is one of the most incredible people on the face of this earth. Like Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, when he talks about these kinds of things in Risalat al-Huquq, or you hear these stories need to come into our life. They need to be the symbol for your relationships. They need to be the symbol of your heart. So now, we decide, me and my brother, to buy what? For the first time, we decide to buy a soda. And it was orange, and I remember it clearly. And he bought one, and I bought one. And we're so excited, it's so cold. You know, it was glass. It's so cold. And we're walking back. And it slips out of my brother's hand, and it breaks. I swear to you, I can almost taste the pop like in my mouth now. Because that was like the first time you ever what? Experienced something like that. So now I have to make a decision. It's the first time I'm ever going to taste this. And now it looks so good to you. So I went home, and I remember without any hesitation, I gave him half. So I drank half, and I made sure I don't go all the way to the center. I remember that. I gave him a little bit more than me. One of the principles that I teach in business is give 51% and take 49%. Invest that 1% into your future relationships. Well, watch what happens. So on that level, how do you, as a person, get to such a point that you stand like that? But the heart is being trained at a very young age. So all my little what? Little brothers, you're still what? A lion pup. How do you train yourself to get to that point? That you don't hesitate, you don't push, and you climb slowly. So on these nights, Abbas was sent a letter from who? Some of his relatives. Shimr sent him, remember the other night we talked a security letter. He sent him a security letter. A place of safety. I'm going to give you what? You don't have to what? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fight us. Abbas had 3 brothers. I have 4 brothers. My dad raised us with one unit. One unit. My dad passed away not too long ago. About 4 months ago. My dad was a mountain. He was a mountain. In terms of his strength, his capability, who he was as a person. I remember when my dad would come, I'd have like 30 people in my backyard because I had the only basketball ring. And as soon as they would see my dad's car, I swear to you, in not even a second, the backyard would be empty. My dad had this energy that's around him. So now, he raised us with one bank account. As we are growing up, he raised us with one bank account. We are a united front. That's how we were. And we didn't care. What's in my pocket is in my brother's pocket. We're still like that today. All my brothers, alhamdulillah, they're very successful. And my sister is more successful than all of us. And we're happy. But my parents gave us everything. And they took nothing. My parents died in the exact same place. In the exact same room. Almost in the exact same way. But what they gave us is something amazing. I'm the oldest, so I had all the pressure on me. So now, how do you stand as a unit? So Shimr, in the middle of this whole congregation that's happening between them, between Imam Hussein, and now they have to face off. So Shimr calls Al-Abbas. He says, come. So Abbas answers. And imagine this. Abbas goes with what? His 3 brothers behind him. This is what you want. This is the strength you want. Your brother, Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, know that he is your hand. He is your might and he is your strength. And he says, support him against his enemy. This is the bond that needs to be created. Not just here. It needs to be in here. But your brother's also got to see the gate. He's got to see the gate. From Allah to the Prophet to the gate of the city, he's got to see the gate. Then he's got to see the flag bearer of the gate. So imagine Abbas is your brother. Imagine that kind of personality leading you. Imagine that. So on that level, Abbas stands in front of Shimr. He says, what do you want? says, what do you want? He says, we sent you a letter through one of our messengers, and you declined it. You didn't want it. I'm offering you the same plea. You have a chance. Think of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in the middle of the night when he turns off the candles. And he says, go. Harb was a warrior. Why? Because he was free up here. And his heart was free down here. Abbas is the same way. Abbas is staying on the road. This is the road that me and you have to walk in this world. He won. We're still on the road. You don't know if you're going to make it to the gate. You don't know. The way you die at the end of, just to give you this, the last moment in what you're doing has so much importance. So always try to be in a state of wudu. Always try to keep your heart connected to who? Allah. Stay in that state. Don't die in the last moment and not earn the shafa'ah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Don't think just because you're a Shia that you found the gate. Don't think you have that. Don't. Some of us will die as non-Shia. Some of us will not earn because we think, well, we're close to the gate. We will not earn that. So don't die in the wrong way. Don't do that. So now he stands in front of Shimr and he says, we've given you this offer again. What does Abbas do? Abbas turns around and he looks at his brothers and he says, what do you say? Look at the moment. Decision making. Decision making. We talked about decision making yesterday. Think about that moment. Now you're standing in front of your enemy, face to face. What's going to happen? You know what's going to happen. So now, what happens in these situations? Your responsibility is so great, but you have the freedom of choice. You can choose whatever you want. Abbas can turn around, accept the letter. It's a choice. But where's the responsibility in that choice? Imagine if you would have said, yes, no problem, and you would have walked off. Think about that. So how do you think his brothers answered? He said, we would never leave Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They see the path. They see the road. And they also see the gate. But your heart's got to see it. It's not an easy thing to do that. It's not. Try. The next time you have to tell yourself no. And then what happens? Your desires overtake you. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَىٰ. Surely what? Do you think these people وَلَا تَحْسِبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءً. Those who have passed away, do you think they are dead? Actually being rewarded from Allah. They're not dead. These are the people that succeeded. That through their death, you can live with these emotions that we have now. No one can touch us in terms of the way we commemorate. Try to find someone who's more in terms of the way we celebrate. This is a celebration. This is a celebration that you can still see the gate. Otherwise, it would have been gone. As much as we mourn, this is our way of showing what? Solitude with Imam Hussein. But how do you do it? How do you do that? You become a walking, talking billboard. For what? Just like the flag bearer was, you become a flag. Now it's on you. It's not on him, her. You change yourself. Dive to the inside. Take over your personality. Take the control. And don't submit to your temptations, which will lead you to humiliation. Take the high road. Fight the self. And then what happens? What happens when you do that? You earn dignity. You earn respect. You earn honor. Take that away from Imam Hussein if you can. Take it. Try to take it. You can't. You cannot remove these things from him. Why? Why? Because he earned it. You earn the path and earn the gate. So Imam Hussein can be standing with you, that when you pass, the first person you see is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Then he will check your heart. And if you can what? Say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And if you can't, the Prophet will be witness over your heart and what's in it. And if you see the city, and then Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Imam Ali will witness over what's in your heart through shahada with what the Prophet just says. So now you have everything you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything else. So now, in the middle of battle, people of what? You see this person lose his life. You see this other person lose his life. And now it's a lot more scary. It's not easy to see people die, then still have the valor to stand, and he goes to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Abbas goes and he says, please, let me go. Let me stand. Let me do what I need to do. Why? Because Abbas hears the low what? And subhanAllah, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? He came up to me. Where is he? Where is he? He sees that. And see that innocence of that child? That tears your heart apart. So imagine that. And now the heart is moving. And Abbas stands. And imagine getting on your horse. And imagine just facing an enemy that wants to just take your life. And they're actually happy to do that. What do they want to earn? They want to earn the spoils of war. And it goes through your head. Your head means what? That they earn money. Hayatul dunya, as we said. Now, what do we learn from Abbas? How do we stay on the road? First thing, determination. Unrelenting will. Unrelenting. When you get to these phases, you can stand up in front of anyone, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in front of you. So now Abbas stands, and imagine just looking at the Euphrates, and now he moves. And imagine when he kicks his horse, and now he's moving. He breaks through the army. Imagine that success of just getting to the water. Now your test is coming. The challenge is coming. I've actually succeeded. I've earned my keep. I've earned the water. I've earned it. Now what happens? Abbas gets off his horse, goes to the water, fills the what? He fills the container, wraps it, puts his hand in the water. Imagine the coldness of that. Now please listen to this. I was watching a series, and it said I shouldn't be alive. This person was astray in the water, and he was lost in the middle of sea for 76 days. 76 days he survived. If some of you can watch it, unbelievable determination, unbelievable will to survive. Some of the trials he went through, this person got to such a point, he literally said this in his interview. He said, if you were to ask me for my right hand, if you were to ask me and take my right hand just for a cup of water, because he was so thirsty, he said, I would give it to you. He said, the biggest desert is not the actual desert. He said, it's the ocean. Why? water all around you, but you cannot drink it because it's going to kill you. Imagine that. Imagine that kind of situation. Now think of Abbas' thirst. Then he picks up the water. And he says what? What does he say? Ya nafsu, ba'd al-Hussein, huni. He thinks of who? He thinks of his brother. He thinks of Imam Hussein. How does the heart do that? I remember my brother another time. A dog came out of nowhere. I swear to you. We were walking, me and him. And a dog just came out of nowhere. And it was running at us. And I swear to you, the first thing I did is I grabbed my brother and I pushed him behind me. And I don't know why. I just did it. I just pushed him and I put him behind me. And I stood in front of the dog. And I didn't move. And I swear to you, it got like right in front of me. It stopped. It stopped. But I remember, because he was scared. But for me, I didn't care what the dog was going to do. I didn't. But my brother now, I swear to you, every one of us doesn't have a house payment. The only person who has a house payment is my brother. He paid, took care of everyone. As we were going through. That's a brother. That's someone who's got your back. Now my dad told me, he said, you're the oldest. He goes, if you want to leave and go into the world can break you. But if you have your brothers, no one can touch you. And with us, we are like this. We're one family. The strength that is in that. All my brothers have made it to very high levels. They're very successful people. And my sister. But imagine Abbas when he says, and he throws it back in the water. He said, I don't want it. My brother doesn't have it. That's discipline. Because he was known as a person who can what? وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. He removes the self from unlawful what? Desires, inclinations. But how about when it's what? It's not unlawful. You've earned it. But you still delay. But Al-Abbas goes back. They hit him. Some things happened. You guys know the story. They cut off his left hand. They cut off his right hand. And what does he say? He says, انقطعت شمالي ويميني ودافع. I will always what? Stand for my religion. That no matter what the world takes from me. You want to take even my body parts? Take them. You think I'm going to let go of the path? You think I don't see the gate? Take whatever. Doesn't matter. Because I know where I'm going. I know where the address is. Because my heart is programmed. Allah's address is in my heart. And I'm not moving off what? The navigation system of who I am. I'm not let going of my personality. I'm not going to let go. So now, Abbas falls to the grounds of Karbala. Imam Hussein alayhi salam. As he's falling, he says, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdillah. Imagine this is your brother. I think of my brothers like that. It just tears you apart. Doesn't matter what you have. If you're not doing well in your relationships, from your sister to your brother, to your family, to your mother, to your... Doesn't matter. Try to find a way. Try to find a way to bring that together and bridge the relationships so you can be a unit of individuals that make up a family. And the families are the bricks that make up a community that makes everything strong. Because we need each other. We need each other. I need you just like you need me. I'm coming from miles away. But trust me, I need you. Just as much as you need me. But please work on yourself. So now, Imam Hussein alayhi salam rushes to his brother. He tries to put his head on his lap. Abbas pushes him out. He pushes his head up. He does it again and again and again. Then Imam Hussein says, why are you doing that? He says, please just leave me here. Don't take me back. He is at the gate. Imam Hussein is the gate. He says, leave me here. I don't want them to see me like this. I think of my nephews and nieces. Teach them to pray. Teach these little kids to pray. Teach them to submit to the Quran. Teach them about Allah Azza wa Jal. He says, I don't want them to see me like this. Then he says to him, he says, why? Why you keep doing it? He does it again. He says, Ya Aba Abdullah, who's going to put your head? Who's going to have the lap to put your head? So imagine what he's thinking. It's constantly thinking of what? The other person. It's removing the I. Karbala is about removing the I. See the I that we all possess? Me, 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 me. Karbala is about the I. It's about other people. Remove the self and fight it. And watch what happens when you earn that freedom. Watch what happens when you earn that. That you can give willingly. Your heart, when you give with your hand, your heart doesn't do this. It doesn't pull it back. That's brotherhood. That's sisterhood. Wife, husband. Create these connections. Let the heart connect properly. And then when Abbas, imagine on that level. He's in his brother's hands. Where would you want to die? Imagine, and I'll leave you with this. ما تدري نفس ماذا تكسب غدا. You will not know what you're going to earn tomorrow. وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت. And you will not know which land you're going to die in. Death is coming, whether you like it or not. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he says, you're getting younger. You're not getting older, you're getting younger, because you're losing every second is a breath closer to your death. And it's coming. There's a reality that is coming. How do you want to meet death? Do you want to enter it through the gate? Or what? Be looking the wrong way. Please work on yourself through these nights. Stay up at night. Reflect. Think. These stories are not fairy tales. These stories are episodic statements that should live within your memory. And then when you have them in your memory, water them with your emotions and connect to them and live by those principles. This is why we commemorate. This is why we are who we are, the Shia of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Sallallahu
Brothers and sisters, there is a little bit misunderstanding. We prepared for Hazrat Qasim for tonight, and inshallah our speaker will talk about a little bit about Hazrat Qasim, and we'll continue about Abbas also for tomorrow, inshallah.
أما من معين يعيننا أما من ناصر ينصرنا. How little supporters do we have? Is there anyone that will help us? Is there anyone that will support us? Isn't there anyone who will defend us? The voice of the Imam echoes into the camp and into the desert with no response. All of a sudden the Imam spots a young boy walking towards him.
Who was this young boy? It was Qasim, the son of Al-Hasan al-Mujtaba. He was a boy not older than 15 years of age. If Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was the moon in his magnificence, Al-Qasim would have been a piece of the moon, walking in the shoes of a young man. He walked towards the Imam just like his father used to walk. When the Imam saw Al-Qasim, the Imam hugged his nephew. As he knew what Al-Qasim wanted from him, the narrations say they both cried and cried until they fainted. It's as if the Imam let out all the pain on the shoulder of Al-Qasim. When they awoke, Al-Qasim says to the Imam, Ammi, oh uncle, I don't have any energy to stay here while I see my cousins and brothers slaughtered. And I see you all by yourself, Ya Aba Abdullah. Imam al-Hussein looked at him a desperate look and said, Ya ibn akhi, anta al-wadi'a. Oh my nephew, your father entrusted me with you. Entrusted you with me. You're the trust of Al-Hasan. You're all that's left of Al-Hasan ibn Ali. It's as if he says to him, you're the one that's left, oh Qasim. How can I send you into the battlefield knowing you won't return? But the Imam alayhi salam knew he would return, but not in the way that he sent him. Al-Qasim kept on kissing the hands of the Imam, pleading with him to let him fight between his hands. Imam al-Hussein said to him, Waladi, atamshi birjlika ila al-maut. My son, are you going to walk to your own death? Al-Qasim says, how can I not do so, my uncle? When you're by yourself, you have no one to support you, nor anyone to help you. May my soul be sacrificed for yours, and may I protect you. In a narration, Al-Qasim brought a letter that his father, Imam al-Hasan, wrote and sent to him. This is my father Al-Hasan's will. It says in it, my son Qasim, if you see your uncle Hussein alone on the plains of Karbala, don't show any negligence in support, meaning support your uncle Qasim. I'm your father, I'm telling you. And my mother has given me my sword and has put me into my armor. So give me permission to fight, Ya Aba Abdullah. Seeing this will from Imam al-Hasan, the Imam gave his nephew permission to fight, but Al-Qasim was a young man. Who wanted to get married soon. He was the young prince of Karbala. So the Imam got this young groom ready. Instead of giving Al-Qasim a white cloak to wear for his wedding, the Imam gave him his kafan, his shroud. Instead of giving the boy a bright turban to wear on his celebration, he gave the boy a helmet. And instead of preparing the boy's face for his wife, the Imam covered the face of Al-Qasim because he's about to go into the deserts alone. He came down to the battlefield. Hamid ibn Muslim says, a boy came towards us. His face was beautiful as if it was part of the moon. When he went onto the battlefield, some of the enemy troops said, did we not just kill Ali al-Akbar? Who is this young boy? Does Hussein have another son that we don't know of? So Al-Qasim introduced himself saying, إن تذكروني فأنا ابن الحسن صدق النبي المصطفى والمؤتمن هذا حسين كلك الأسير المرتهن بين أناس لاسقوا صوب المزن. If you don't know me, know that I am Hassan, know that I am the son of Hassan, the grandson of the Holy Prophet. This is Hussein like a captive between people who I ask Allah not to bring any rain upon them. Just like his father before him, he went down to the battlefield, courageous, strong, and fearful. Al-Hassan would have been so proud to see his son fighting the way that he did. Just imagine Imam al-Hussein seeing this boy who reminded him of his brother that he lost almost 10 years ago. The Imam was seeing all of Banu Hashim fight in the body of Al-Qasim, the young man. It's as if all of Banu Hashim were manifested in body by this young boy. Al-Qasim was controlling the battlefield. He killed 35 men. Although he had no horse, he was showing the people how courageous Imam al-Hassan really was. He was showing how the grandsons of Ali ibn Abi Talib turned out to be. But Ajarakumullah, as he was on the battlefield, his sandal snapped. Seeing that it snapped, Al-Qasim didn't want to continue to fight barefoot. When he felt he had a chance, he bent down to fix the lace. Those who were fighting knew the code. They knew that if a man was bent down, a man was fixing his armor, a man was fixing his shoe, the fighting stopped. There was an honor among soldiers, but these soldiers had no honor. They had no limits. Seeing the boy wasn't paying attention. Ada Amr ibn Sa'd al-Sa'di said, Wallah la ashuddanna alayh, wa adkulan wa la adkulanna bihi ummah. By Allah, I will attack him and make his mother feel the loss of her child. Hamid ibn Muslim says to him, what do you want with this boy? By Allah, if he hit me, I wouldn't hit him back. Isn't it enough that you surrounded him and cut him off? Amr replied, by God, I'm going to pursue him. Ajarakumullah. The monster walks up to Al-Qasim. As he's bent down, the top of Al-Qasim's head was facing Amr. Amr comes towards the young boy. Al-Qasim doesn't see the man approaching him. He raises his sword, and the Imam hears as if he's watching, and he struck the head of Al-Qasim, splitting it open. Al-Qasim fell, so the enemies took their chance. They ganged upon Al-Qasim. A man split the belly of Qasim, another stabbed him with a spear in the back, making it come out from the other side. Al-Qasim shouted, Adrikni ya Amma, save me, O uncle, ya Hussein. The Imam came to the rescue of the boy, but he was on the ground, bloody, with his stomach open, a hole in his chest, and his head split in two. When the Imam came to him, he was still alive. He was shaking and shivering in the sand. When the dust settled, Imam al-Hussein is standing near the boy's head. The boy was still moving his feet in the sand. He says to him, بُعْدًا لِقَوْمٍ قَتَلُوهُ عز والله على أمك أن تدعوه فلا يجيبك أو يجيبك فلا ينفعه صوت والله كثر صوت والله كثر وقد
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. رحم الله من ذكر قائما